Today's video is gonna be something different or something serious. I've never done anything like this before on camera. I didn't really think I was gonna actually do it. I wanted to make this video at least for this day, but I just didn't know how to go about it because whenever I see people do these kind of videos, I just think, you know, like they're just trying to get views and trying to get like people to just, you know, go watch the videos and stuff. But the more it came to it, the more it came down to the day and I saw other videos, I just felt like I understood why they were doing it. And I feel the same way too, you know. I just wanted to make this video to share my story and just so people know that they're not alone. Even though when you go to something like this, you do feel alone. You feel like no one can really understand the pain you feel. On this day a year ago, my dad did pass away, and I just can't believe it's actually just been a year and how fast it went by. And you know, I never really thought like I could make it through it. I could go through every month, every holiday without him, but you know, it happens. You know, you have to get through it and you keep going forward. But I guess I just want to talk about like exactly what happened that day. That day, I was asleep. It was about 6 in the morning, and I got a phone call. I think I had a few missed phone calls as well, and it was from my older sister. She had asked me if I had talked to my mom, and I told her no, and she, you know, she was like, I did call her, something has happened. And the first thing that came to mind was something had happened to one of my family members in our family, and I was just hoping, you know, everything was okay. She just told me, you know, you need to get dressed, you need to head to the house, which is the house that we all grew up in. She was like, you need to go out there right now, and I was like, she's like, I'm on my way, and I was like, okay. And then so I woke up my girlfriend. We left Ivy home. He was asleep and he stayed with the grandparents. And I said, we need to go, we need to get ready, you know, something's going on. And I already knew like something wasn't right. And as soon as I got we got into the car, I was leaving, and my phone was ringing. It was from my mom, and I pulled over to this like little, I don't know what it is. I think it's like a spiritual store. They sell like candles and like the rosaries and stuff like that. And it was, so I pulled over, answered the phone, and my mom was just crying and crying, and like she wasn't making any sense. She was just saying words. She was just saying like, he doesn't want to wake up, you know, he's not breathing, he doesn't want to wake up, he doesn't want to wake up. And I immediately knew it was my dad, because that was the only man that was living at our house. It wasn't like my brother that was living there. And my other sister, who originally lives there, she wasn't the one to call me. It was my older sister who called me, and I knew she was living there at the time. And I thought something had happened to her. She just kept telling me, you know, he doesn't want to wake up. I tried waking him up, and she was just crying and just screaming like, Jesus, why, you know, like, why won't he wake up? And I just asked her like, what's going on, what's going on? She was like, just kept saying my name, and like I could feel the pain in her voice. And immediately I knew he was gone. And I just knew like it wasn't like there was an accident, or it wasn't like, you know, like he was having a heart attack or anything. It was just like he was gone. And like I told her, you know, like, I'll be right there, I'm heading that way. So then we live like about 20 minutes out, and it's just like straight shot. It's just like a street, and then you get on the highway and you go straight all the way out. I told my girlfriend, you know, like what was going on. Like, what's going on with my dad? He doesn't want to wake up. That's all my mom kept saying. And in my head I knew like he was dead, and I was just frozen. Like, I didn't know what to think. I didn't know how to comprehend anything. And then I remember pulling into my driveway, and like we have a long driveway, so we're like, whenever I put up to my house, all I could see was fire trucks outside our house, and there was someone inside too. So I drove in, and there was a man telling us to stop, and I was just like, I'm not gonna stop, you know, like I've lived here all my life. And inside, I just pulled into the side, I parked, and I got off the car, and I went straight to my mom, because like she was on the patio, and my neighbors were there, and my sister who was living there was there, and I think we were the first ones to be there. And my mom was just on the porch crying and crying, and the police were there, and they were just asking her questions, like, you know, like just trying to figure out what exactly happened. I went up to her, I hugged her, you know, I said, what's going on? And she just kept telling me he didn't want to wake up, he didn't want to wake up. And I still didn't know exactly what had happened. And so as soon as you open the door, the first room to the right is my parents' room, and outside their room was my dad there, and he was just laying there on the floor. And you know, just seeing him there on the floor, not breathing, not alive, it still didn't hit me that he was gone. So I saw him there, you know, it was right there in front of my eyes, like that he was dead, and you know, like he wasn't gonna come back, and this was it. It wasn't something that he could fix, it was just done, and that was it. And I went back outside and I just went to my mom and I hugged her, and I still yet didn't cry, like it still didn't hit me. My sister got there, and you know, my sister was very strong, and she tried to be strong for my mom, because they would ask her questions, and my sister just got right into it, and, you know, talked to the officers and just, you know, answer the questions they needed to know, like about what medications my dad was taking and at the moment and stuff like that. And on our kitchen table, my dad had his pills there, you know, like the medication he was taking, because they had put him on a medication for him to take because he was sick, and you know, he had to change his lifestyle, he had to change his diet, and he had to do these new things to help him feel better and to make him better. But in the end, it didn't work out for him. And I feel like the stuff he did, he wanted to do it so bad for us, but it was changing him dramatically, and I knew how bad he wanted things to change for him, and he wanted things to be better, and it just wasn't working, and it was making things a lot much worse. Whereas he was losing weight. Times I did see him, you know, you can tell he was different, and he didn't want to show it. He wanted to be who he was. I thought it was for best, you know, like what he was doing was right. The weird thing is that I hadn't seen him since the weekend before, and I had talked to him because this was on July 10th, which is today, and the last time I talked to him was July 4th, and it was when I was barbecuing for the first time, because he had gave me a pit. And I remember texting him, you know, asking him questions like how do I start the fire, and like, you know, the barbecue and stuff. And whenever I made the food and stuff, I sent him pictures, and he just told me that he was proud of me and stuff like that. I remember that day he didn't want to leave his house because he didn't feel good. He didn't feel himself. You know, some days he felt himself, some days he didn't. And I never really truly saw the other side of him, you know. My sister did, my mom did, who lived with him at the time. They saw, you know, what he was going through. The day before, I was actually with my mom and my oldest sister at her house. We were having a garage sale, and we were selling some items like Ivy's clothes and some of my mom's clothes and stuff like that. And I remember after I left the garage sale, I went to Once Upon a Time to go sell Ivy's clothes because not many people bought it. And they had this thing, you know, you have to pick it up at a certain time. If not, then they automatically keep the clothes. It's kind of as donated. And so I had to pick up the next day, which was on the 10th. And I called them. It was a Sunday, and I called them. I said, you know, I know y'all close early. I'm not gonna be able to make it. Can I pick it up on Monday, which was the 11th? I said that was fine. So I'll go back into that again. But that day, back on the 10th, I remember, you know, like it still did not hit me. Like it didn't hit me. He was gone. Like he was dead. Even though I knew what was happening, like I saw it in front of my eyes. And I remember texting my friends, you know, like my dad just passed away, and nobody could believe it. Like we were just in shock. And now I'm not the type of person who wants people to feel sorry, who want people to tell me, you know, I'm sorry for your loss, you know, tell me it's okay, and tell me like you're gonna be fine, because really you're never gonna be fine, and you're never gonna heal. Like you just feel empty, you know, like you can't make a phone call, you can't visit, you can't hear them, you can't hug them, you can't do anything. They're just gone. And I feel like it's something not many people would like to talk about, because it's so hard. And it is hard, because even doing this video, I've never actually really talked to anybody about it. Like my girlfriend wanted to be there for me, you know, she wanted me to talk to her about it, tell her how I felt. And I was just the type where I needed to hold it inside. I needed to get through the day. I needed to be there for my family. I needed to put my family's feelings before mine and not worry about it, you know. Like I was gonna be okay, I was gonna be fine, but I'm not fine, and it just sucks. It did take them a while for the ambulance to get there. The firemen and the officers who were there, and then once the ambulance got there, They took him out of the house, and once they took him, I just went to the living room, and I just sat there, and, you know, I looked at everything that was in the house, and I just felt like he was away, like he was away on a trip, like on a bike ride, like he was away, like, not that he was dead, it just felt like he just was out of town. Day went by, you know, the news was out there on social media to like our Facebook friends and family, and like, you know, that my dad had passed away, and people started calling my mom, started calling my sisters, started calling my brother, me, and like, you know, they wanted to come over, they wanted to be there for us, and we're gonna leave to go pick up Ivy, but instead we ended up to go get some food to eat, and Ivy came over with the grandparents, and you know, Ivy just made everything feel better. He just made me smile because, you know, he didn't know what was going on. You know, his grandpa just passed away, and he was still very young, and a lot of people started coming over, and it was still a weird feeling knowing that like a lot of people were over, like a lot of old friends and family, and it still made it harder because they brought back those memories that my dad were involved in, and but it was nice and comforting to know people were inspired by him and touched by him, and that they loved him, and you know that they were gonna miss him as much as we did. Then the next day came, and that's when I had to go pick up the clothes from Once Upon a Time, and it still hadn't hit me yet that, you know, like he was gone. And driving to the store, and then this song came on the radio. I don't remember what song it was, and it was a country song, and it was just talking about, you know, like that life goes on, and that things happen for a reason, and then like, I don't know, it just hit me like he is gone, and he's never coming back, and you know, that was it. And that's when it actually finally hit me that, you know, what are we gonna do? One day I find peace, and you know, I feel better, I feel complete, but I know, and I won't ever feel like that because I'm always gonna wish he was here. I'm always gonna wish, you know, I had more time with him. I'm always gonna wish Ivy had more time with him, and I know I'll never have that, and that's what I think bothers me. But I know he's safe and he's fine, and it's so great when he visits me in my dreams and he tells me that he's okay, and that, you know, like, not to worry about him and stuff like that. I feel like in my dreams I can finally speak to him and see him and, you know, hug him and tell him that I miss him. All you can do is just surround yourself with family and friends and good people, and just try to keep moving forward. And my dad really truly touched my life and inspired me and motivates me every day to, you know, be the best that I can be to Ivy, and I appreciate him. I appreciate everything he did, and I know one day we'll meet again and everything will be great. So yeah, I just wanted to make that video just so people know the story, and that was it, you know. I just feel like I needed to let it out, and I feel like sometimes the best way I let things out is talking alone, and I'm not alone. There's people watching these videos. So see you on another video.